Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to look at some cards that I think are kind of like steals at TCG Player. This also, like, these videos don't age super well because either the cards get bought out immediately after I make these videos are like, they aren't worth the money, and so at your own risk, look at these cards. And also these prices are literally only going to be, Thursday, February 6th at like 7:30 p.m. Central Time, doxing myself real time. So yeah, that's that. Also, if you guys want to buy any of these cards, I'm an affiliate with TCG Player, which means if you hit the description and in there, there's a link that is like TCG Egman, the bit.ly link. If you click that and then buy any cards, I get a little bit of a kickback for that, and it helps me out a huge amount. And for you doing anything that you're gonna do anyways, right? You're gonna buy cards, right? So yeah, that's my spiel. We're gonna look at some cards. They're not all gonna. I mean, I'm gonna try my best to not just be like, oh, this is a draft box 4 card, and it's less expensive. It's like half of $100 today. Ooh, you should do it. So hopefully there's gonna be more variety than that, and maybe there's gonna be some like picks that you guys didn't think of. So let's jump on into it. Oh, we've got Grade 8 Bardock. Ooh, it's $55 today. Ooh, you should buy one. Okay, real first one. We've got Son Gohan the Avenger. So this, I don't know, like this guy kind of got like a bit shafted with Topo, because Topo is like usually better. But this is a 2-drop red counterattack, and then so if your leader card is red, negate the attack and play this card, and then permanent during your opponent's turn, reducing your cost of this card in your hand by 2. So when you play this card during your opponent's turn, choose up to one of your opponent's leader or battle cards, and it gets minus 10k power for duration of the turn. So that's like a huge effect. I mean, Topo usually does it better because it stops across the board, but it really feels like we're getting some like really powerful like leader swings and all that kind of stuff. So this being able to like stop your opponent's leader from swinging, or like for example, if you think of like Yellow Baby or the new like Sun, a lot of people are afraid of the new like Father Son Kamehameha Gohan. This can be a pretty good counter to that because they usually will have a bunch of cards in hand anyways. So instead of using Topo, I think being able to use the Son Gohan the Avenger and just give it minus 10k for the turn and negate an attack will probably help, you know, survive a turn better than Topo could do. So that's just an opinion there. That could help you out some, and that's just an idea there. So it's like $10, which might be a little bit too pricey, but there we go. Next up, also this is in like no order. I was just looking through all the cards I was thinking about buying and or have bought in that last little bit and put them together. So, but Battle to Death, I mean, it's if you don't have it from the starter deck, this can be really good for just blowing up something on turn 3. Including cards like the new like Invoker Vegeta. If you're really worried about that card and you're running red-yellow, sorry, if you're running a yellow leader, there we go, boom, Battle to Death, blows it up, and there you go. So that's just a good card there, and that could help you out. It's only like $1. So if you don't have these already, there you go. Next up, we've got both the they're kind of, it's like moderate order, right? If cards have synergy, I put them next to each other. But the Son Goku and Bardock, you can get a pair of these for like $13 or so. These are just great cards for Successor, as long as you're playing something that has like cards to put in rest mode. For 0 energy, you can do this 2-drop Bardock, put something in rest, and then you play the Goku, and then yeah, for 0 energy, you just play 6 energy worth of stuff, and then you can go into something from there. So that's pretty good. I think it's a good combo. And if you are playing something with Successor, I would generally recommend looking at these two. So especially since like 6 energy is good, and then like you can just you can play like another one, right? Because it's just you have to be leader, and your Bardock Father Son isn't playing your Ballard, so you play both of these, you Successor, and then you can just do it again. So that's some cool recursion there, and I think these cards are good. Next up, we've got Piccolo Jr. Arena Wrecker. This could be this is a little bit more of a hard counter, but if you're really worried about like the red-blue like Tournament of Power, like field card that just lets your opponent cheat, this card can be very good for it, especially since you can make them you can play this card, and if you do this on your turn 1, then they can't charge like red-green or red-blue extra cards ignoring energy exhaust anymore. So it's a great card for that. And like even if it's like later in the game as well, you get a 3-drop out for 1, and it's green, so this could be a really good Successor kind of pairing as well. Because usually for a lot of them, it's like 6 is a really good number, and 9. So having a 6 out, and you just play this Piccolo for 1, and you can go into a 9, that can be really good as well. So I think this is a good card. It's only $2.50. If you're running green anyways, it's just one specific green to blow up a field card, and then it's like if you're playing aggressive, it's like becomes a 20k. Also, if this had crit, that would be like insane, but I think it's still fine. So if you don't have these, I'd think about these and invest in that. Same kind of thing with Tactical Victory Vegeta. The only difference is that this doesn't have the 1 energy restriction. So if you're like worried about like Android 18, there we go. That's like another thing. I think Piccolo's better, but like these are 2 cents. The shipping costs more. So there we go. Okay, next up is Son Goku Nimbus Voyager. So if your leader is red, so people don't really, like, there's a big confusion of how this card actually works, but pretty much how it does work is that what it says is if your leader card is red and you place this card in its owner's drop area, when this card attacks a battle card, that card has 25k power or less, KO it, which means specifically is that you can, if this attacks into anything, you can just put it in the drop area and you can blow something up. And also it doesn't have the word choose, so this gets around barrier as well. So in a kind of roundabout way, this is like a one drop like barrier removal card, but it uses an attack instead, and which means that you can like negate the attack or something. But I think actually this probably gets around negates, right? I was talking about how confusing this ruling is, but yeah. So when this card attacks a battle, yeah. So it doesn't matter because the auto will still resolve. It doesn't matter if the attack is negated. So. Yeah, that's pretty good. Gets rid of big targets and for just 1 red energy. So I think that's nice. Next up, we've got this Frieza malicious streak. So this is from the expansion? It's an expansion rare. When this card is placed in the drop area from a battle area, you may choose 1 card from your life add to your hand. If you do, choose up to 1 Frieza card from your hand with energy cost 2 or less other than this and play it. So if you're playing like a successor deck, like this is fantastic. Being able to just play this and then you go into a successor target and then you get to take 1 card from your life and pretty much replace it with a 2-drop something else Frieza. I think this is a good card for this successor archetype. So if you're not already running this or you aren't thinking about that, start. So there's that. Next up, we've got some Android cards. We've got Android 14, 15, and also Android 13, the Brilliant. Both these are coming from the same expansion rare set. And you can get these. The parallel foils for these are about $5, and then for the Android 13, the parallel rares for this is only $1 from PP or Pro Play Games. Okay, that's not going to stay. But looking at the other ones, it's like $5 as well. So if you like Android 13 got like a bunch of like support this set, and it looks really cool. So if you want any like some blinged out versions of these cards, they're pretty cheap right now. So that could be an investment for you there. Next up, and then also the Android 13 as well. Like the super rare is only like $2.50, so that's not too bad either if you have this. So and like this, like even if like there's a new successor one, I still think this 7-drop is really good in itself. And then like you can just you can play this guy, and then next turn you can like successor on top of it or with it, I guess. So that can be a good target there as well. Goma. So this is kind of in the same way. So if you have a Frieza or Sorbet card in your battle area, you may play this card from your hand without paying its energy cost. And when you play this card, if your leader card's a yellow Shenron card, choose up to 1 Dragon Ball card from your deck, place it in your drop area, then shuffle your deck, draw 1 card, and you can't play Goma for the duration of the turn. So this is just like a free blocker, and a lot of the free blockers are pretty good at like the green-yellow ones for successor. But this one's can be like super easy to play. Especially just with like the Trader Dende. So if you want to get like 6 energy out by paying 0, you can do like you can revive a 4-drop Frieza, play the Goma for free, and then you still haven't used any energy for that turn, so you can successor into a 2-drop as well. So that can be really good. I can see this being just a good combo and can really help you out there. So good card there. It's only like $1. So if you ever think about doing like successor stuff, there's that. Fu mission accomplished. So this is from the draft box, which I'm trying not to get cards from, but there's just so many good cards in here. It's such a weird mismatch. But yeah, so for active main for 2, you can remove this card in your drop area from the game. Choose up to 1 black battle card in your drop or warp with an energy cost 7 or less, and add it to your hand. The reason that this is important is for the new Boo archetype. Combination of this activating in the drop area and being able to add any of the Boo cards back to your hand that you need. This can just be really good for getting you like later games in the turn, being able to get that extra like boost or like starting the chain again that can really help you win. So good card, and I think this card's gonna be good for that. It's sitting at like $3, so not gonna be too expensive right now. Next up, we've got Special Beam Cannon, and this is for a parallel foil. I've been seeing a lot of Piccolos becoming more hand control this set, and like that's what kind of like the leader sets up for anyways, because it It has like it warps 4 cards by itself, and then also like special beam cannon. You have a Piccolo leader, so you make them drop another one, and with like what the cells Kamehameha as well. I think that's good. Like this just has so much like hand destruction and pressure that if you want a blinged out version, it's $3, and if you want a normal one, it's like 2 cents. Yeah, 10 cents. So if you want some fancy colored ones, there we go. But there's that. Next we've got, I feel like I sell this line every time, but the Broly Wrath. Why it's so good now is because you can just do, like it's just pure yellow, so you can do some successor stuff with it, which is super nice. So like you can play this on turn 2, go into this on 2 more energy, go into this on turn 3. Make your stun one of your opponent's energy or their leader. Stunning your opponent's leader is going to be really important as always, because the green Gohan, if they can't do anything, then like if they can't untap their leader, they're going to have a rough time. So that's good there. And then you can go like into the 9-drop for 2 more yellow, and then like if you're on like turn 4, you can like awaken, untap 2, and then go into like a 9-drop cell or something, right? So like this is just really good. This lets you like just destroy one of your opponent's energy as long as your opponent has 3 more energy. You can just choose one of your opponent's cards in rest mode and send it to the drop area, so you can like on turn 4, if you still have the 7-drop out, you can stun their leader. Then after stunning their leader, you can evolve into the 9-drop Broly, awaken, pitch one of their energy, so now they're like down 1 energy again, and then you can just go into like Cell or any of the other 9-drops, like the Cell 9-drop Super 17 as well. I think that's just a really good combo, and it just lends itself to the successor archetype as well. So the 7-drop's kind of weird, but other than that, I think it's really good. So, and this is only $4, which is pretty low considering. It's probably closer to 5, honestly, but I think this is a good card for the successor archetype as well. Next up, we also have, like, in the same vein, this Gogeta. This card's just been really hard to get always. It's what, $9, so it's not too bad. But if I think like the biggest way you can play this card right now is with the new Beerus card, just because that energy ramps anyways. So being able to like this deck card like does the same thing. Instead of winning on 16 energy, you just win on 15 energy. And you have to evolve on top of the 6-drop and everything. But I think this card is not too bad, and if you want to play around with it, it's $9. Next up, we've got this Sun Gohan Master and Pupil. This one's probably a little bit pricier. I swear it was like at $9 when I opened this page, so maybe it refreshed or something. But or maybe I'm just wrong. But like this is always going to be good, and I think like it's going to be good in like the Surge Cell Leader. It's kind of needed to like awaken in a lot of ways because it doesn't have that capability. It can get stalled out a bit. So I think this card's still good, and there's that. So this one just is more like a PSA of like all these 1-drop negates. They're all really cheap right now, and they're the ones that can be played in the drop area. So I think these are going to be important right now. There's so much card destruction, hand destruction going around, and also if your opponent thinks that they can like take the negate out of your hand, this card's just you can just place this card instead. And all these you have to like still drop a card. Like each one says for this one like 1 green card, and then the blue one's like 1 blue card, that kind of stuff. But it's just a negate you can play in the drop area that also isn't dead in your hand if you don't need it, right? Just being able to have this in your drop and have it like always available is pretty good. I mean, you can only play 1 a turn, but I think negates at the right time are going to be more important than usual right now. And being able to determine when the right time is without having to have it clog your hand, I think is going to be better than usual. So there's that. Next up, we've got Herku Majin Buu, Friends Forever. I also swear this was under $15 when I made this list, but it's obviously going to be good in the new cooler archetype, like the milk cooler, especially since when you play it, you get to draw 2. So if you use 2 cards for a rival, you draw 1 for this being played and then 1 for the cooler effect, assuming you haven't done it already. So you just get like a free card out for 1 energy, right? So like 3-drop out for 1 energy for free, pretty much, and cycle and blowing up and disrupting your opponent's stuff. And then you can also like bounce a card back to your hand. So I think there's a couple good cards that are good for that. For example, like the new like 3-drop Frieza that is like a counterplay. That kind of stuff for 3 or less. I think like, being able to bounce that back to your hand, and just anything else really, it can be really good. So just because like this deck like thrives on like active battles, so like you could do like this and cooler in the same like 2 arrivals, then you get to blow up 2 things, and then you can like bounce the cooler back at the end of the turn, so you can drop a cooler again next turn. I think that could be really powerful. So this is a good card. Get those if you want to play cooler for sure. And they're like what, 15, 16? Yeah, they're already ramping up. Oh boy. This one's pretty obvious. If you like the sell chain and you sold your stuff, you can get it back for cheap. Perfect Force cells are like $5, like literally across the board. So not going to be too expensive there. If you want your shiny one, they're going to be like $20. But yeah, I think he can be somewhat viable with this next set, and I think a lot of people are going to be trying for it. So if you want to be that person, then here we go, just $20, and you can get right back into it. Next up, we've got Feet Kamehameha. This card's pretty cheap in itself, so this is the parallel pricing for it. Similar to, like, you guys have probably already seen with the new Gohan, what Father-Son Kamehameha, a lot of people are worried about this card, because it becomes a Goku on the backside, which means that you also get to just get these pretty insane boosts to like your triple strike. So you get a triple strike now. It's a crit. It's a 35 triple strike crit for 1 energy and 1 attack. Like that's a huge amount of power. That's pretty crazy. So if you want to foil one to flex on your opponent even harder, they're like $5 right now, unless you get the $10 one. Geez, but that's just something that's still low and will probably just get more expensive if the deck takes off, right? Next, so just like a really niche little combo thing that I like and no one else does. So Saiyan Teamwork Kaba, great card, and you can get this Khalifa out, and guess what? These are both green and yellow. Wow! And then also Kaba, if you can like get this out with like a Wish Leader with assembling the squad. So on turn 2, if you're awakened, you can assembling the squad for free. Get Kaba out. Look at the top 10. Get Khalifa out. Khalifa taps something, and then you have 6 energy, and then you can go into a rival 6 drop, and there we go. You're off to the races. So that's just a good card, good little combo there, and it's cheap. Khalifas are probably a little bit more expensive than they should be right now, but there's a neat little thing. That's a free Egman combo that I've probably given out like several times. Next, Super Saiyan Broly All Out Assault. If you don't have these from, like, if you only bought like one of these decks, I'm not sure like if it's worth to buy another deck or just buy 2 of these straight out, but if you're playing anything with Successor, this is pretty much a staple for the deck, being able to play a 6-drop for 2 energy on arrival, and just like the effects it does anyways. I think that's great in itself, so being able to yeah, it's just a great card. You need to put in the deck, so if you don't have it, have it. And then lastly, Vegeta Explosive Power. Just another like blue Universe 7 leader, and if you don't want to be using the new Surge leader for like the new Universe 7 stuff, I say this is a super good backup leader for it. If you don't have this card already, it's only $1.50, and it's worth experimenting with. It's also just one of my favorite cards. For when it first came out, there was like a weird ruling with how it worked with energy, and I just really fell in love with it. But if you haven't tried this leader out, he's great. He has like a free untap every turn and on his awakening, and he's just pretty aggressive and all out, just a good leader. So there is that, and you can for $1.50. But I think that's gonna be it. Let me know what cards I didn't mention that people should be buying right now in the description below. If I spoiled your spice in this, and the prices go up, sorry about that. But I think all these are pretty good cards. And yeah, let me know what I forgot. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you're going to buy cards anyways, please consider using my link in the description below. And I guess subscribe now that I'm fully like selling out and everything. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Hey, we hit our donation goal for Vegas, so special shoutouts to Spira, Jacob, Darwin, Highland Noosh, Benjamin Fortner, Robert Reetzes, Reggie, Dust Jester, and Pedro Batista for getting the funds there. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys out there.